Once more, here we are. Right on time. Maybe even a little bit early, in fact. Yes, very possibly early. Once more, here we are. The chat seems dubious about this. The chat knows not how the time and clock works. It is unaware of even these simple things. Chat should be a little ashamed of itself to even suggest that we would ever be late, frankly.
Yeah, I think we banned player card. Yeah, that's the one. Select
Just
one person to ban.
Pick random people, roll a dice, like, yep, that one. To be fair, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad way of instilling a little bit of discipline, just random executions,
Yeah.
I think people would get the message after the first or second massacre.
just several. Cat might get a little quiet, but whatever.
Hey, it worked brilliantly for every authoritarian regime up until now, so I don't see any reason why it shouldn't work out just fine for us as well, frankly.
Execute enough of your own men, and all of a sudden they'll become more loyal and totally not backstab you.
Well, at the very least, see, that's the beauty of it, Kyle, okay? Because if you know they're coming for you, you know they're coming for you, and you can prepare. Or something. Yes, this is the way. This is absolutely the way. Now then, today we will have a little bit of a duality of things. We're talking mostly about everything that's been happening to Blizzard or Activision. Let's be frank here. Activision has not had a good week. Activision hasn't had a good month. Activision hasn't had a good year, frankly. It's been absolutely awful. And the top of the dogshit pile came, of course, out a couple of days ago when the state of California decided to sue them for not being quite as inclusive and open, etc., as they like to tell us, which is disappointing. I mean, I can't understand, Kyle, how a woke and progressive corporation could be so filled with sexual abuse.
Generally, it's those who are trying to hide something that always boast so much, They're like, we're super inclusive. Don't look at anything about me. I'm scared.
It's weird that. It's like, don't look at us. We're very virtuous. Please, avert thine eyes. Of course, there was the Warcraft 3 Reforged thing. Now, this has been a bit of an open secret for quite some time. We already presume that this was probably going on. I think was it the company who they shoveled this out to, I think, that mentioned something about not having enough money, not having enough time, being forced to finish it far too early, etc. But it's now been kind of confirmed as well that there was a lot of internal power struggles, and they weren't given money or time or resources, practically because they wanted them to fail.
Yep, to no fault of the actual studio who actually handled the whole thing. Well, maybe they do take partial blame, but it's one of those things where it's a messy business, and we need actual more insider information to get the full scoop. But
yes,
basically the picture we have painted right now looks like Blizzard, or, well, I keep saying that word, Activision, the company behind the whole ordeal, decided that, no, we will not actually be funding you fully. We'll be giving you a pittance, and you need to shove this out even earlier than before. This is normally a death sentence for many studios. Creative Assembly's Australian team with Stormrise had a similar instance. Underfunded, and they get shoved out the door early. It does always look like, in these cases, that there's some sort of thing going on where they're trying to cancel the other group because of some sort of disagreement or something. So I'm sure it's really juicy and really fucking rancid. What's going on?
Very much so. There. Stormrise too. Now there's a name you don't hear mentioned often, and for good reasons as well, as that was basically Creative Assembly Britain putting the knee on the neck of the Australian team for making them look bad over and over again. It was intended to be a tactical RTS with a lot of actually very unique and groundbreaking mechanics, theoretically at least.
On paper.
Yes. But they didn't have the time, they didn't have the money, and they certainly didn't have the support to actually produce anything even remotely close to what they wanted to deliver.
They forced them to deliver it on console to really drive home that nail. You know you want to kill a studio real bad when you force them to make an RTS for console. That's just like you're trying to kill them at that point. And on top of that, like, I remember it came out, I was actually interested because it was Creative Assembly, right? And it's going to have like the flocking mechanics, but with large infantry regiments, like with machine guns and stuff. It's set in this post-apocalyptic world. It looked really cool. It played like a very rough prototype, like a proof of concept, not actually a game. And then later it came out that it needed a couple more years of the oven and did not get the funding, and that Creative Assembly had forced the Australian team, or Sega, I don't really know the full scoop on that one, but somebody basically was like, you shove that out the door now. And that's why CA Australia isn't really a thing anymore.
Yep, it was, by all appearances, a massive honey trap where they were basically like, okay, you get to make the game of your dreams. And they wrote out this incredibly ambitious design document. And once they'd signed the contracts, someone was like, right, now finish it in a year.
Oh, Stormrise. We got Rising Storm. That gets the names mixed up. They're same name. The game was called Stormrise, and it was produced by Creative Assembly. Now, fun fact, the British Creative Assembly distanced themselves from that instantly. They were like, we have nothing to do with it. It's not even a CA game. It was made by somebody else.
Yep.
It was made by Creative Assembly Australia, the guys who helped with Medieval 2 and with Rome 1. It's kind of like...
It was pre-planned. It looked absolutely pre-planned.
Yes.
Stormrise. But... anywho, it seems as if that may have been a somewhat similar situation with Reforged, where somebody did not like this subsidiary studio that they farmed this out to, and they set them up to fail. Now, one might be wondering, why the hell would they be so petty? Like, surely they're shooting themselves in the foot, right? Well, the thing is, the people who built Blizzard, actual Blizzard, are long gone. The people there now have precious little, if any, loyalty to Blizzard and the brand. Like, these are Activision people. They're not interested in World of Warcraft at all.
The only people that we know that's still there is I have a few friends still there, and they are people that were there for the original, but the problem is executive staff, like Arch said, are all gone. Like, it's all new, faggoty little Activision boys and girls that don't even know nothing about anything.
And, of course, they are recruited from quite the stock as well, the Californians. There was, here, I'll send you this article right here, a archive link, so it might take a little time to show up, but I thought this was hilarious. So Activision Blizzard employees denounced the corporate statement, because the corporations was like, oh, no, all of this is nonsense. We don't touch women inappropriately here. And they said, we are here angry and not so easily silenced. After the lawsuit. Oh, that is so rich. That is so bloody rich. The workers who have created this situation, the workers who are working at the company, and have shut up completely up until this point, are suddenly like, we stand in solidarity with our female brethren, we do. Oh, sure you do.
Yeah, doubtful. Very much doubtful. I still fucking... oh, God. The statue. The statue at that statue right there, the one where it's like, it says like, you know, all the tenants of their company, and it's like every single one of those tenants they don't even abide by.
They have broken literally every single one of them repeatedly.
It's hilarious. Activision Blizzard. See, the word Blizzard, like, it's not even really Blizzard anymore. Like, they're just using it for the namesake. Blizzard would never produce something low quality like this. Activision, on the other hand, would have no problems.
And that's the thing, too. Blizzard was rightfully famed for their incredible quality. Like, even something like Hearthstone, right? A children's collectible card game oozes polish. Every single part of the interface is animated, it's moving, it has that art style. All of it comes together. And that is only something that can be produced by a team that works smoothly together, and with a leadership that won't settle for less. Now they'll settle all right.
They will. Oh, what a disaster.
There's also the upcoming Diablo thing as well, the Diablo 2 remaster. You found some screenshots from that, which it's
You
just
like
California. It's just California in screenshots, isn't it? The Amazon, hot chick in a leather armor with big old tattoos, and looking pretty. Now she looks like an angry, pissed off, menopaused, middle-aged woman who's just like, "Ugh, I don't want to be here, male pig."
Yeah, like this is like look at the soul that was lost in this new redesign. Like the soul is completely evaporated from this design. Like it's just hollow. Like even the character is unemotive and unexpressive, as if the people behind it were like, "Yes, we'll make this soulless thing." And we have a couple screenshots that I found that people have been posting and sharing around. Like here you can see they fucking like cover stuff up for the female character designs because you know, it's too risky. Can't have it be, you know, demons and stuff. It's too edgy. Can't have it be offensive. You can just see all those wonderful redesigns where they just absolutely butcher it. Like they don't even care about the product that what it was, and they're just absolutely out there to sabotage it. My favorite image is by far the last image, where it just does a side by side from Diablo 1 and 2 of like all the dudes. So you get here they are in the beginning, you know, the designs, and the second one, which is faithful to the original designs. But like you look at the new ones and like they're just desaturated. Like they lost their personality, and that's like it's insane. Like the Barbarian is the most notable one. The Barbarian one looks devoid of life.
Honestly, to me, it's the druid. Like, if you look at the druid, he looks like a sad old hobo who's just been forced onto the set of like a movie studio, and he's like, "Somebody promised me $5. Why am I here?"
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
The sorceress, she's Middle Eastern now, like actual proper Middle Easterner. Just also looks small, diminutive, bored. The paladins turned into a full African guy with an afro, of course, because you gotta have that. The barbarian, all of his tattoos have disappeared. He's just a boring ass, bald white dude now. Even the necromancer looks more animated and lively than him at this point.
Yeah.
The assassin, you know, she maintained her boob window somehow, but they had to just close up a little bit of the cleavage because you know you gotta be careful with that.
Don't worry, her boobs have gotten deflated a little too. It's like
yes, of course. They've let a little bit of the air out. That's important.
These designs are atrocious. The modern ones, like they've completely missed the point about the other ones. Like the assassins, her thigh, the armor there, and with the red highlights to highlight the inner thigh of the character there. Like, there's so many little things here that are done that way. And is it done to be sexy? Is it practical? No. Is it done to be sexy? Yes. And just in the same vein that the Barbarian wears no fucking armor. Like, he's a big, Chad, muscular dude, bro. Like, what did you expect? They forgot what made Diablo, and they are instead just doing whatever the hell they damn well please with the designs.
Well, they never knew in the first place. Like, these people never knew what Diablo was, which one of the critiques in the lawsuit that I found so hilarious were that the male staff members were playing games whilst the female staff members were working. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe they should consider playing some Blizzard games. Maybe that would give them some inspiration as well.
Yeah, you'd think it would be a prerequisite. Like, I can't imagine, because I don't have any video games out, but I would imagine a prerequisite would be like, hey, have you played the previous games we've made? You should, because you need to understand the design philosophy behind it and the quality, you know, the production value, the pride that went into it. You know, when a studio presents a game, like Westwood Studios, it says, proudly presents Red Alert 2. That means it. They mean they're proudly presenting this new title they've been working on. They're not shamefully presenting it like, oh, here's this little, you know, steaming pile of crap. No, they should be proud about it. You should have pride in your work. You should be proud of the game you produced. That's something you don't see in AAA. It's very much spreadsheet nowadays, where it's like, it should have this mechanic and this thing because we need to meet an X quota that the player has for this time that it takes to complete that thing. And they're having fun. They should be having fun because it has X and Y mechanics, so therefore they must be having fun. Like, it's all designed on a spreadsheet. And if you ever look into the industry and how they do stuff on the AAA side of things, that is how they do it. They basically design games out on just spreadsheets. And while that's not entirely wrong, but they talk about, like, weird things, like, dragging out the playtime, because the player obviously wants the playtime to be long, even if the experience is unengaging, or it's missing its sweet spot. Like, they don't care. It's all about profit. And that's all it's become now. It's less about making fun games. It hasn't been for a very long time. Well, you see the indie market blooming because those are the new people from the new generation who are coming in to be like, yeah, let's make fun games again.
And not even just the indie market. Blizzard, Activision's grand big pot of gold, World of Warcraft. Now, to be fair too, World of Warcraft has been pronounced dead/dying like once a week for the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it has never seen this kind of direct competition. Like Fallout, Final Fantasy did not build it itself as a WoW killer. It didn't try to steal the throne. They just were like, okay, let's make an MMO. Let's make an MMO for us, for our fans, and the people who like Final Fantasy. And weirdly enough, that produced a product with actual genuine quality and appeal for the people that like that stuff. Weird.
Yep. It is strange, isn't it?
Meanwhile, World of Warcraft is like they're putting out new content, and you can see their thought pattern, can't you? Shit, nobody likes our stuff anymore. What would we do? Oh, I know. Bring back Arthas. He's popular, right? And then they do that, and then people look at them like, what?
You've already ruined his character when you killed him by making him an idiot. Now you're just making him stupider. Oh, I've talked to some people who still play WoW, because I still have friends who still playing it, but a lot of them are just unsubbing now. The last few that I know play it, and they said basically how they feel each expansion since like Wrath or etc. Like every expansion feels like it's getting smaller and smaller content wise. Like there's not as much stuff. It's more focused experience, but like there's missing stuff. Like the PvP players don't get new maps hardly ever anymore. Like the best thing a PvP player can hope for in WoW is maybe they'll get one new map in the new expansion. Like how sad is that? Like that's pretty bad. It's pretty like they're just negating. Like I don't know what they're doing with the money, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Activision execs are just fucking like sucking out the money like vampires, but not like you see this all the time with major studios, by the way, where the executives take like, a third of the profits made and just pocket it. And so they can go invest it in other corporations because they don't invest it back into the corporation that they're, a part of. And you see this a lot in not just the AAA industry, but also in other places that I can't quite say here. But it's one of those things where it's kind of alarming, and it's not too surprising that these executives. The next question is, how do you hold them accountable for that kind of stuff? Because they just sort of get away with it. Like after they're done sucking, World of Warcraft dry and they leave it a decadent husk, then what? Like they're just gonna move on to the next victim, and they never get like punished or anything. People just sort of forget about it. People blame the company, the name. They see the name Blizzard and Activision, they blame them. You shouldn't be blaming these names because they're just faceless things. You should be looking at the people behind these things and blaming them, because these are the people we have to watch out for. I can't even tell you who's in charge of Activision Blizzard WoW right now, but I can tell you this for certain: whoever it is, you should keep an eye on, because whatever project they're going to work on is probably going to be a disaster.
It's far from unusual for the corporation leadership to basically say to themselves, okay, well, we've had a good year. That's all because of us. So bonuses, of course. I would not be surprised if the money has simply just evaporated. You might think it be impossible, considering the sheer, unfathomable quantity of cash that World of Warcraft alone has raked in. Never mind Hearthstone or StarCraft or the scam that was Warcraft 3 Reforged. I tell you this too. This is the uncomfortable truth. Warcraft 3 Reforged earned money. Lots of money.
I think World of Warcraft is still making them bank. Like, they're still making bank off it because I don't think they're investing nearly that much into it. I talked to somebody who played the latest expansion, and it sounds so devoid of content. Like, what they're doing with, like, the raid stuff, like, they're just stringing people along with little pieces of gear. And they're, like, with half-baked ideas. This is the problem with WoW. Because I tried playing it again in BFA, just to take a look, to see if they had come back to their senses, maybe. Because they were doing the whole outreach thing, like, oh, it's going to be, you know, back to our roots. And I played it, but that was not back to our roots, quote-unquote. That was a disaster. BFA was a series of half-baked ideas that weren't tested, and it turned out that I did a little bit of research, had been, like, in the beta and alpha, people were telling them, don't use this, this is trash. The whole Azerite gear stuff, trash, don't do that. And they shipped it with it anyways, and they never fixed it, and then they just abandoned it in the next expansion. Like, expansions are, like, viewed almost by the people who still play it as, like, oh, maybe they'll fix some of the problems with the game. Maybe, you know, my hunter's gonna get some new stuff finally because they've neglected it the last, you know, several patches. Like, that's pretty bad. That's pretty sad, actually. They have way too much money, and that is not an actual excuse. They should be investing more money into this game. This game should be growing. Expansion packs are supposed to be additive. You're supposed to see the content get bigger and bigger and bigger, not reducing or reductive. I don't even know what the word is for this. Like, where the content gets smaller and smaller and smaller as you progress through the game. That's kind of what WoW has entered into, where there's no longer a new content. It's just getting smaller, more cornered off. And that's pretty bad. That was my impression from BFA.
And meanwhile, the competition is skyrocketing. Again, Final Fantasy is doing incredibly well, to the point where they don't have enough servers to take care of all of it. Now, I did hear about the whole thing where they've sold out digital keys. Bullshit, by the way. But clearly they were not prepared for this level of success, which in and of itself is good. It's like, okay, they just made a game because they wanted to make the game they wanted to make, and they had huge success about it. Now, I will qualify that by saying we don't know the long-term success of this. It's had a huge spike, which happens to coincide with World of Warcraft and Activision stepping in it again and again and again, undoubtedly alienating a lot of people, but will they stay? Because that's the big issue here. Currently, even with all of this, World of Warcraft is still the king, still the gold standard. It's going to take a sustained performance to actually dethrone them. Now, there's also the new world coming out in a while, which I think will be a really big hit amongst the more dedicated fan groups. Like, I could well imagine larger World of Warcraft guilds gravitating towards that, for example, because it has a lot of large player group content, though it is lacking, as far as we can tell, bearing in mind we don't actually know, in the PvE raid style stuff. And then, of course, also comes the fact that you've got Final Fantasy, you've got the New World, and these are, how to put it, these are settings games that have the future in front of them. They still have development teams that are being funded, that are still interested in making their games. In the case of World of Warcraft, how many people are gonna just march out the door with this whole lawsuit debacle? How many are going to get fired? How many of them? Because here's the thing, too. A lot of the part of the lawsuit were stuff like, there's frat boy culture and they make jokes. Like, okay.
Yeah, no, part of it, like, the thing is, it's an accusation from what I got, right? Because I read it, but it's kind of a mess. Like, a lot of people are jumping on board with this Blizzard thing and immediately going like, Blizzard obviously guilty. Well, the thing is technically innocent until proven otherwise, because we are, like, you know, a nation of laws, and this is a United States issue. So they are innocent until they're found guilty. Because if we go on the whole like shabam of you're guilty beforehand, which is honestly one of the biggest sins of my country, where everybody just says you're guilty without actually proving it. Technically, right now, they're innocent for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be proven
And that's
guilty.
going to cause massive upheaval within the company, bearing also in mind that if this is a company with enough internal schisms to want to sabotage Warcraft 3 Reforged, I'm kind of thinking, like, okay, could somebody be crazy enough to embellish a story or two here and there, etc.?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, this could be another, like, internal corporate play to sabotage another branch of the company, and they're going to use the outcry from the people to try to banish these people they don't want in the company anymore. I would not put it past them. And people are stupid enough and dumb enough to buy into drama and immediately start like, yeah, that person's guilty, that person's innocent. Like, people are dumb enough. They'll actually bite into it. They already are right now. So who knows if this is some like 4D chess move on some exec's part to sabotage the other half of the corporation. Because it's a massive, massive corporation as far as video games are concerned.
And anyways, heads are going to roll. A lot of them. This could be a very fatal blow for Activision Blizzard in many, many, many ways. Now, of course, the question too is if the opposition manages to actually do anything with it. Like, Final Fantasy looks like they're doing whatever they can right now to be like, okay, we need more server capacity, we need more stuff, hurry, hurry, hurry. Which, we've seen this before as well in other MMOs, which have been super hyped up at launch, and then they're like, oh god, server. And then 3 months down the line, shit. Nobody's playing. We now have a huge population scattered across far too many servers, all of them medium to low population.
Yeah. That could be pretty bad.
Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Meanwhile, amusingly enough, Electronic Arts is actually kind of becoming a decent company, which is weird. Okay, so here we are sitting, yelling at Blizzard for not caring about their fans, not caring about their products, and shoveling shit out the door. Meanwhile, EA is over there going like, oh, you want to play Battlefield 1942 in our newest Battlefield game? Oh, you want to play all melee matches? Okay, that sounds retarded, but here you go,
can do it. EA is listening to fans, and that, I think hell has frozen over. Blizzard is the bad guy, EA is the good guy. What's going on? There's some seriously messed up shit going on in the world. But I think this, again, punts back to the old saying, like, it's not about the corporation name. It's about who's in charge. That's the big thing. Like, Microsoft's finally coming around, putting stuff on Steam, putting stuff on PC, and ending exclusivity. Sony then sort of followed suit with that. Like, things do change, but it's all about the people, and it's all about where the winds of change are blowing. And right now, they're blowing in the decent direction for EA. I mean, we actually have been pretty not too bad. Like, some people like the Fallen Order Star Wars game. I didn't personally, but a lot of people did like it. And apparently, like, that was decent. I hated it personally. CNC Remaster was actually amazing. It was actually really good. That was impressive that they actually went out and got the original Command & Conquer devs. The Battlefield game, they're saying they're going to listen to us all. Now we'll see. And so far, they've been pretty good at listening and adhering to what people want. People wanted to play the Wehrmacht against Battlefield 2 dudes, and they're letting us. So, it's kind of cool, I guess. Now, only time will tell if this is, like, you know, the full deal. And to top it off, EA is resurrecting one of the things they murdered, Dead Space, with a new, basically just remake, sort of a remake. They want to do kind of what Resident Evil 2 did with their remake. And I'm actually all for that as long as it's good and recaptures the same vision of Dead Space. So like EA has a lot of promising titles, and it's something you should be, I think, cautious of and wary of, because again, we haven't tried them yet. But it is interesting. It's worth keeping an eye on.
The thing is, too, this is a result of a very long campaign of constant harassment, essentially. Yelling at Creative Assembly. EA. I wish we'd yelled more at Creative Assembly too, to be fair, but
Too many simps in that
they've
family.
received a lot of flack. A lot of beatings, frequent beatings, over their nonsensical behavior, their outright murder of the Dead Space universe, and of course the fact that they have made practical sport out of just killing setting after setting after setting and then saving them up in their basement, right alongside the corpse of Looking Glass, Westwood, etc. Just dump them in there. It's like, you stay here now.
Yeah, like it's actually kind of promising. Like, who knows? Maybe CNC will be continually getting remasters. Honestly, only time is gonna tell if that was just like, oh, we're just doing a one-off CNC remaster thing. But like, what else could they bring back? Because let's remember this: Activision, in terms of titles they own, they're not sitting on too much. Like, they're sitting on some big IPs like Warcraft, the COD. The COD thing makes them like friggin' bank every time because people just consume that crap all the time. But like EA is sitting on a treasure trove of golden eggs, like an insane amount. They got the Dead Space franchise, they got the Mercenaries franchise, they've got, oh my god. Like they've got it just slipped my name, Dungeon Keeper. They've got that. They've got the Black and White series, I'm pretty sure. Unless Microsoft acquired that. I don't know. It's a bit messy with the Lionhead acquisition by Microsoft thing. I don't remember.
Anything which involves Peter Molyneux is messy.
Yeah, it is a bit of a mess. And they also are, yeah, we can't forget that, the Battle for Middle-earth series. That would require them renewing their deals and start redistributing that. But they are sitting on all the great movie games, too. Like the Lord of the Rings games, a lot of them were made by EA, and they're actually really good. Surprisingly. Movie game gems, honestly.
Well, they were the company that did that. Like, they were the ones just sitting on every single bloody damn movie game. They are the ones who produced all of it, and they could get back into that position again. Hell, maybe even some quality content. Oh, wouldn't that be fascinatingly un-EA? And again, it is as a result of constant backlash, of constant criticism, of constant yelling, of constantly hounding them for the things. And eventually they tried with the Command & Conquer Remastered thing, like, okay, fine. We will try doing what the fans want one time. And I suspect that most of them were like, it shall fail miserably, it'll never earn any money, grumble, 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 grumble. And then it succeeded. Like, really, really well. It did well. It sold well. It created tons of positive PR. And there's a bunch of wrinkly-ass execs sitting at top of their ivory tower with shocked Pikachu faces going, what?
That sold?
What?
That old game sold?
Customers, you told us what you wanted and you actually wanted it and paid for it? We never thought of this.
You'd pay for the thing you wanted? Does not friggin' compute.
Does not compute. Does not compute at all. And now the battlefield thing as well. Like, I am genuinely optimistic because it does actually appear as if they're just throwing shit at the wall, and I believe it is very much so as a result of the success of the Command & Conquer Remastered. I mean, the idea of tossing World War II Germans into battle with bad company troops is stupid beyond belief. It makes no sense from a gameplay standpoint, from a balance standpoint, from anything. But people want it because it's bloody silly.
Yeah.
And they decided to give it to people.
What was your...
Like, that's a good thing, because that is not something that a company test group or anything like that would ever come up with, you know? Mm-hmm. That is not the product of a spreadsheet. That is a product of looking at the forums, looking at suggestions and going, okay, it seems stupid, but do it.
Yeah, what was your impression of Battlefield Portals? So somebody posted that for me, and And I was like, oh, it's just a meme somebody made. And then Arch is like, yeah, you can do that. And I'm like,
Yep.
I had a hard time believing. I'm like, are you fucking with me? Like, what are you talking about? I'll pull up the
I
trailer so
know.
people can see. Because I was like, oh, this is like a deep fake thing. Somebody made this to be like, ha ha ha.
Somebody showed like the Kubelwagen being fired via satchel charges to shoot down a VTOL, and indeed the reaction of many people, including a lot of the gaming media press, was like, "Oh, this isn't true." No, it is. It's there. It's retarded, and it's there. I am very fond of it. I am very fond of that. Again, it's complete nonsense, but complete nonsense is not necessarily a bad thing, as it turns out.
Honestly, it's really cool.
Now, of course, we should bear in mind that right now it is simply just a company making the correct speaky squeaky noises. Whether that will translate into a good game, we don't know. It could launch and be a completely broken ass mess, barely even functional, with awful netcoding, useless connection issues, horribly designed weapons and maps, etc. Entirely possible, if not indeed fucking likely. But at the very least, they are listening, and that is something. I am excited to see what they end up doing with it. Very excited to see.
The scene with the melee looks so stupid because they're using the reviving defibrillator thingy. Like, it's amusing. I'll give them that.
It's a melee weapon, isn't it?
I mean, it has been in
It's
the previous.
It's close combat, isn't it?
I do like
That's how it works. Kind of.
I like the reluctance in chat. Like, I guess Battlefield 2042 could be. It's kind of the same place where I'm at too. Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people looks at this, the apparent resurgence of EA of all companies, and they're holding their noses and going like, I really don't want to cheer for EA, though.
It's more than understandable, but if you look at the grand picture, right? EA has had, what, 2 golden ages before. The first one, which sort of helped explode them out, then they got, like, kind of crappy, and, like, then they picked up Westwood, and they picked up a bunch of other studios, and then they had another golden age all the way through the mid-2000s, and then the late mid-2000s, or late 2000s, like 2010 around that, 2011, was when EA started to do all their stupid crap. And then we had almost a decade of EA stupidity. Well, actually a decade of EA stupidity. So it's actually like they've done good things in the past, just like any company. And honestly, if the helm changes, whoever's in charge, I think it really boils down to who's in charge. Like, if you have a smart leader, like, they're going to make smart decisions with the game. If you have a crappy leader, they're going to make dumb decisions, you know? I think it really is just kind of that simple, more or less.
And also the corporate culture nearing the top and so on, because that's a big deal as well. A lot of these companies are often staffed by people who will not take good advice, who just won't, who think that we know best and screw you. You mentioned the whole thing with the Azerite gear, where everyone's like, this is a retarded idea, don't do this, they did it anyway. It reminds me of Warhammer Online. The war games are a WoW killer. Everyone told them that the Bright Wizard was unbelievably broken. One of the most OP PvP classes in any game ever. And they were just like, don't care. Meh. Like, we don't care. Because they thought to themselves, well, we know better. We know best. We don't need to listen to the fans. What do they know? We're the ones sitting here with all of the actual information. We're the ones who's sitting here with the questionnaires and stuff, and it's clearly not that big of a problem, you know? And then it's released, and it turns out that, oh, Christ, our fans were actually telling us the truth. The people who want to play our games were actually telling us that, yeah, no, this dumb. And the simple fact that EA has arrived at the point where they can at the very least acknowledge that is a major step in the right direction and could potentially lead to some real actual gains, some actual real change. It's entirely possible. Again, time will tell, but, optimism and all that.
I mean, for all we know, these could actually all be train wrecks, and we just don't know yet. There's simply
Oh, absolutely.
no way of knowing. We're just going by the optics of the time.
I do not put it past EA to say every right thing, to release all the right trailers, to make all the right demos, maybe even a fantastic beta, and then release the game and forget to turn on the servers. Wouldn't surprise me.
That'd be kind of funny.
Or just drown, or here's the best idea, right? They were like, so people want to post the garments. What if we lock all the skins behind a microtransaction store?
See, skins don't bother me that much, but what does bother me was the map pack thing. That is, and is anybody, if anyone here is a fan of being a shooter game, you know map packs are the only way to kill player base. Every Battlefield game until Battlefield, what was it, the last one, 5, which sucks, like had map packs. Even Battlefield 1 had map packs, despite it actually being kind of somewhat passable as a game. Like, the map packs, what it does is it cuts players into different groups. And so what happens is the player base gets spread out over a series of gated content packs that people either choose to buy or don't buy. Map packs are how you kill your shooter game. Never release map packs. You can DLC cosmetics or whatever, but if you do that to map packs, your shooter game is going to die for sure. In very quick succession.
You will be cutting your shooty bang bang game into tiny, less manageable slices, and then you'll be like, why are people complaining about bot matches? I don't know.
Because some of the people want to play on the Czar maps, and some of them want to play on the, Alpine maps, and so now they're separated into different groups. They don't cross over anymore.
Yep. Map packs should always be free. There's a lot of caveats. There are a lot of nice little holes dug ready in the road, probably by EA themselves, prepared to catch their little ankles and snap them right off at the shin. It is a thing. It is absolutely a thing. But still, here's the thing too. The second part of yelling at a corporation when they're doing something stupid is to tussle their little hair when they're doing something good and be like, oh, it's a good little doggy. Look, that wasn't so difficult, was it? They go like, player feedback positive? Yes, good. Money? Yes.
Just make what people want, and the money will flow. They don't even have to go. They don't even have to do the extra mile. All they gotta do is do the basic biatch thing, which is just make what people want, and that's it. People want a Battlefield game. Give them a Battlefield game with a Battlefield stuff. Don't be silly about it. Don't do dumb things. Don't add a pointless campaign because Battlefield. The only Battlefield games that ever had good campaigns were the Bad Company series, and the rest are all garbage. Don't waste development resources on pointless things. Don't add weird handicap soldiers because you're trying to go for virtue signaling points. You could have spent that money on something else. Like, you just wasted time. Instead of selling your game with these silly ideas, try to sell it with actual mechanics. And here, they're doing the right thing. Like, look, our game, you can do stupid things in it if you want. If you want to do melee only, God only knows why, you can. I would never do it personally because I think that would be dumb. But you can. So, honestly, more player choice is always a good thing, generally speaking.
Unless your players are Chinese, in which case, awful.
Then your players can be led down a railroad that drains them all their money, called the gacha game.
Or Korean. And, of course, there is another subject that we have to address that has nothing to do with Blizzard or EA, and that is obviously Games Workshop. Games bloody
love Games Workshop.
Oh yes.
Oh god, this actually was finally the thing that made me smile. I was like, finally, they're killing themselves. Like, I've been anticipating this moment for years.
Workshop.
People told me I was wrong. This is the glorious I was right here. Look at this beautiful thing. If you're a fan of GW, fuck you. That's what this basically says. It's funny. They actually
Pretty much.
They didn't just shoot themselves in the foot. They cut off the bottom half of their body. They're so stupid. Oh, GW was always a dumb company, and this is just proof. Look at this shit.
Kyle is a bad boy. He's very, very negative.
No.
Okay? And it's fine. I've been told by shills that this isn't actually as bad as it looks.
It's really bad.
I have been informed by people who's like, no, this is fine. They'll only go after fan animators, and they'll offer them jobs whilst they're. I have literally seen this argument be made. Where it's like, this isn't too bad. It's not like they just sent them cease and desist, or they offered them a job. Yes. Somebody comes into your house with a revolver and goes like, "I'm going to take your livelihood away if you don't become my slave." It's like, oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, mister.
We weren't doing bad.
I'm so grateful.
This is only
Can I
the
work
beginning.
for free?
This is only the beginning, by the way. The rest of these pathetic little Warhammer YouTubers, including Arch, your days are numbered. Your career's over.
See, they can send me a cease and desist all they want. I'll just be like, okay, I live in Norway. Come sue me.
The fucking Norwegian king just bonks him over the head with his stick, like, get away. Oh my god.
I would probably just be an asshole and just like, no, I'm going to be my own legal representatives and just drag it out for as long as I can, just cost them money every step of the way. And it's like,
See, it's okay. Even if they go after Barch and I already have a new plan. We've got contingencies in place. He's safe. He's just going to be a new kind of lore channel. Oh, it's funny.
It is funny. Oh, gee, bloody W. Oh, gee, bloody W.
Oh, that one's going to be funny when we get to that.
Actually, I saw that one. We'll
That one's going to be funny.
That one's relevant. Lancelot652 says, speaking of GW, I was watching other videos on this topic and found Norn Queen Alex. And I don't know what you did, but she hates you, Arch. She was excited at the fact that the GW might kill your channel. See, this is the difference between me and these other fucking corporate simps, okay? Even Alexis, right? Alex? Alex?
His name is Alex, probably.
I guess his name is probably Alex. Okay. The reason why it's she, her, whatever the hell is angry at me is literally because of something somebody else did to her in an RP.
Yes.
That's this drama. It's RP drama for another person. And this human being is then like, I hope they come for your livelihood. Like, holy shit, how petty are you? Like, I would never be like, I hope Alexis's channel disappears because she was mean in RP once. Like, good God.
Oh my god.
Are we children?
The best part is Arch wasn't even there for it. I was there. It was between Meowsy and Ego because Meowsy threw a stick at her in the RP and she took damage. And so that person thing got mad. It was like, I didn't come to my defense. I'm leaving the campaign. And then I'm going to make a video attacking him. And it's like, okay.
And she has held onto this grudge with a vice-like cocking grip for like 5 years plus.
I know. I've got people there that tell me all the things they say. It's quite funny.
The amount, the amount of and here's the thing too, right? Just the amount of messages I get about this person, I've received messages about. I'm not going to go into detail, okay? Apparently, all kinds of scammy shit has been going on her Discord servers, mental manipulations. I can't confirm it, and I'm not interested in making a big deal about it. All I'm saying is, I get too many messages about this person.
Should send
from
iDubbbz
people who
that
think
person.
I care.
They can do a content cop and slam that. There you go.
Oh, god damn it. Anywho, that was a complete bloody side tangent. Because here's the thing, I don't mind any of these other people, even the ones that have backstabbed me directly. Oh, I'll throw a little bit of shade at them on occasion, like when Valorant decided to use my art, for example, and I don't mind when people use the art I commission. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but
It's funny that
I'm
he
gonna bring it
grovels.
up.
He's like, Master Arch, please be nice to me. The funny
stuff
fact
like
is,
that.
Arch is trusting. He's actually a really good guy. And he's been one of my best friends for a long time now. But I do need to say something. He's got a flaw. Arch isn't perfect. He's actually kind of retarded. He trusts people who I've known were problems and pointed out that you shouldn't trust this Valrak character. You shouldn't trust this other name person that I'm not going to say, because they're very suspicious, and I think you shouldn't be, super buddy-buddy. I think they're going to throw you under the bus. And they throw him under the bus, and then the next person comes along, and I tell him the same thing, and then it happens again. And he's finally reached the point where he no longer will just blindly trust these people. Like, they've done it. I couldn't help him. They had to just show him how rotten they were so that he could finally understand that you can't trust everybody, Arch. These people they're not good people. They'll manipulate you. I've been on YouTube longer than you. I'm smaller, but I've seen more shit than you have. Most YouTubers will manipulate you. They will use you, and then when they're done, they will throw you under the bus the first time they can. Most YouTubers are pieces of shit. You can't trust them. You can never trust us. Never trust us, Chad.
Trust Kyle. That is correct. You can't trust Kyle. He is a vile, backstabby little munchkin.
Adopt that mentality. Adopt that mentality.
Adopt Kyle.
Don't adopt me.
But we're not even going to get into that, because I don't care. I genuinely don't.
But I find it funny.
The fact that I live rent-free in a fair few people's head is a subject of little consideration in my bloody life. But let's get a little bit back to this too, because one of the persons I want to give a little bit of a shout out to here as well is the Outer Circle. He's a YouTube channel. You can find him easy, the Outer Circle. He called this way before anyone else too, because I too was like, I was looking at Wormer Plus and I was like, this is probably going to be a train wreck. But I was also like, but I don't want to be the negative guy always. I don't want to be as like, okay, this is just Warhammer fan animations. They're doing kind of what I always urge them to do. Bring on these talented people and make good content. And so I was like, okay, this could be good. Let's view it from positive light with a couple of caveats mentioned. And the Outer Circle was on the complete other side. It's like, no, this is what they're going to do. This is going to be awful. And they're going to start banning fan creators. And here we bloody are.
He is very
smart.
Now,
bear in mind, too, these are guidelines, right? This is not legally enforceable. The entire gray area of this as well is something I've talked about on multiple occasions, but nobody knows exactly where the line goes here for fair use, for monetization, for copyright. And bearing in mind, too, what they are doing when they're like, oh, you just don't have to, you can't monetize any of our stuff. That's bad. That's the line. No. Nowhere in fair use does it mention monetization with a single bloody mention. It's not a factor in the slightest. And the question is, of course, what is the next step? They've gone this far. They've specifically attacked fan animators. They've gone to the length of finding them, seeking them out, sending them emails, talking to them, threatening them straight up, and had them pull everything they've made off YouTube. What's the next step? How far will they go? Will people still make fan animations? Will they scare them? Will they go after YouTube content creators next? Because, of course, on their Warmer Plus, they are giving you YouTube service, basically. And here's the thing, Tira. This will be a little bit of a lengthy rant, but it's, right now, Warhammer Plus is only offering a digital license to access a bunch of books and YouTube content. They're offering you painting tutorials and official GW lore videos, which are basically commercials, 5-minute commercial bits, where it's like, oh, these are the 3 greatest events in the Imperium. That's on their actual GW page, and it's like 3 paragraphs of text where they sum up the entire tyrannic war in like 30 letters. I'm like, oh, right. This wasn't much of a conflict, was it? because it's meant to sell things rather than actually make law. But if that's all they're offering until they can eventually get their animations going, which is going to take quite some time, and even then we're assuming that they'll be good, not corporatized trash, blah, blah, blah. If all they're offering is YouTube content, painting tutorials, and bloody lore videos that are commercials, how long until they realize, shit, we're doing a far worse job than just regular dudes in their basement? We're going to have to shut them down if we want to survive.
I mean, people shouldn't buy their products. You should try to avoid their products at all costs. Acquire them through any means. Print models if you need be. But look at that. Look at the bottom there. It says modern slavery statement. Like, dude, I don't give a shit what your opinion is. Shut the fuck up and sell models. Jesus Christ.
Well, the thing is, they have a statement on modern slavery as they run factories out of China, so I feel like that's a necessary thing for them to have there.
GW supports modern slavery. We know that. That's not even new. Like, they're okay with slavery and stuff like that. They've always been pro that. Cheaper.
See, I'm not going to go that far. All I know is they have factories in China, and they felt the need to write on their website, we condone slavery. Okay, right. I would never have assumed English corporation that you would have been against slavery unless you would have told me. So, danke for the heads up, I guess. Oh, it's so dumb. And let's talk about the advertisement aspect of it as well, because we can talk about how this is a repugnant move against the fan base. The fan base gains nothing from this. It is actively being hurt by this. It's less content, it's content less frequently, and what content is produced, they will of course charge you for now. All right, which is again content that used to be free. But the business side of this, and here's my theory, right? I think Games Workshop is getting ready to dump their audience and try and replace them with a video game audience, with a streaming audience, with an animation audience, with anything they can, frankly. And I'm going to make a bigger video on this once I've organized my thoughts on it a little bit, but they see with their latest lore too, they remade the Space Marines, their most popular army, specifically, I believe, to resell you Space Marines again, to sell them to you again. I think they're preparing to dump the entire franchise, frankly, and just move over to doing video games, to doing animations, to doing anything but, because they know, just like we know, that 3D printing is coming. In fact, it's already here in many respects, where if you know what you're doing, you can make a 3D printed model that is indistinguishable from what Games Workshop made. Just indistinguishable. And in that position, would it be so weird if the company is like, okay, we need to radically change our business model, we're going to milk our customers for what we can, and then we're just going to leave. We're just going to run for the door.
I don't think they'll leave outright. I think they're definitely moving into other markets, though, because they do like believe that they're hemmed in. Because they are. They are hemmed in. They're probably going to eventually try something digital even in the future. I wouldn't put it past them. They're slow, but they'll get around to it. They're just trying to expand their market so that they're bigger, so they can increase sales too. I don't think they're going to
take them a long time.
Physical stuff ever. They'll probably always sell it, but they do want to transition into more markets. That's why they're going to eventually transition into the lower markets. And then they're going to eventually transition into the painting market. So they're going to get rid of all the painting channels, all the battle reports. Only sanctioned channels can act. That way they'll have total media control. And they'll be able to do it.
Surprise me.
They'll be able to do it.
It seems like it is the way they are heading in. And all it would require is for them to simply be ridiculously litigious. To see, and the thing is, too, they don't actually have to sue people. 9 times out of 10, if GW sends you a cease and desist, a sternly worded letter in your mail going like, "Sir, we know your name, we know where you live, we can take away all of your mun-muns if you resist," 99% of people are just going to go like, Okay. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to fight this. I can't afford to fight this. I can't afford to be locked down in courts for God knows how many bloody years trying to fight Games Workshop on this.
Pretty much. Like, honestly, most Warhammer content creators' days are numbered. Anyone who has 40k themed stuff on their channel is an idiot. If you have a Space Marine as your logo, you're dumb. If you have any... Like, the thing is, they're coming after all of you in due time, which is why it's a good idea to transition. I've already even advised some of my other friends who do 40k stuff to begin transitioning your logos into something not 40k themed, because they're going to come for you. It's only a matter of time. Now you're just waiting. Might not be this year, might not be next year, might be in 5 years. Better to transition now and start saying that I own this rights for that thing, because otherwise they're going to be like, it's mine.
It's very possible. It's very possible. Probable, even, I'd say. And, of course, it would be very stupid of them. They'd be shooting themselves in the foot. They'd be killing a lot of their market. They'd be killing a lot of their advertisement. And they'd be creating a lot of pissed off fans. But again, if you're preparing to transition away from that fan base anyways, what are you really losing, I guess?
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at other fandoms. The thing is, there are other fandoms, like Disney. We had this conversation in our friend group with Bubbles, Barch, and us, and Disco, and Hands. And Disney is like a saint compared to GW. You can make lore videos for like Star Wars, and they generally don't care. Like, there was one incident where Disney got involved in some drama, but everybody knows how Disney views drama. Disney hates drama. They're cowards. They just want to sell product, and greedily and scummily. The only really terrible thing they do is extend copyright of dead IPs or IPs they shouldn't even have in courts and backroom deals and stuff like that.
Yes, they do that a lot.
Disney is better than GW.
Disney has a lot of really draconian guidelines for the use of their content as well, but the key difference is, unlike GW, they don't enforce them. They're putting those up so that in a court of law, if anyone should be like, you're not enforcing your IP, they can go, no, we are. Look at this. We have very strict guidelines. And that's all the court's really going to bother with. Now, here's the thing, too. The whole you have to protect your IP thing is an outdated concept that we are better off shedding, frankly. Because it's a continuous thing that never ends, and the only ones you actually have to be protecting your IP from, really, is if people start straight up copying your stuff. And people don't do that. People want to advertise your stuff. People want to even help you make your stuff better, as we see in all of these fandom markets. Therefore, a company being forced to, quote-unquote, protect their IP by striking their fans causes far more damage to the corporation than it does good. Far more damage, which is, again, why most corporations just don't. Which is why Disney looks at fan stuff and goes like, we don't see anything. I have no idea what this is. But GW always thinks they know better. They always think they can get away with what even Disney can't. God knows why.
Yep. Like, the thing is, there's plenty of alternative things. Like, but at the end of the day, GW, the sooner GW dies, the sooner somebody else can swoop in and do a better job of running Warhammer. Literally, Satan is better than GW at this point. Like, let GW die. It's fine. It's actually good for the fandom. It'll be better off without GW at the helm. Literally, Disney would do a better job. Because people, I remember there was somebody who's like, yeah, but Disney trying to make it for the wider audience. And GW isn't? Like, what's the difference at this point? At this point, there is no difference. The only difference is Disney doesn't absolutely hate everybody that makes fan content from them. In fact, they ignore fan content creators generally. After the last debacle with the Star Wars thing, they've taken a step back. And they now know, because the Star Wars fans actually stood up for each other when one of them was attacked. You know what the Warhammer fans did when one of their members was attacked? When one YouTuber in the Warhammer community was attacked? You know what the Warhammer fans did? Cheered. They cheered. They cheered. Many of the content creators cheered, and other people cheered outright. That's not good. I hate to say it, not to be mean, because I know a lot of you are good people, but the Warhammer fandom gets what it fucking deserves. It has earned this. This is what you get when you don't cry out when they do that. When they attacked Arch and his channel, what did Alpha Boosta do? What did Valrek do? Did any of them come for his defense? Did anybody cry out against this action by GW? No, they cheered. And that's the problem. The fandom gets what it fucking deserves. And if that's what, like, they've made it okay. GW thinks they can get away with this now, and so they're going to continue to push it. You should have made a stand when Arch got hit. You didn't. Now you get to get fucked in the bed you made.
That is a point, sadly. Because that is the thing. Like, when the Star Wars community was hit with this, all of them unified and said, like, no, you don't get to do this. This is fan content. Frankly, it's better than what you bloody make. And we're gonna back it up. We are going to want to have this. We are going to defend it. And we are going to push the corporations. And it's not even when they just attack me, right? Because, okay, these people... Well, a lot of them do it because they don't have... And I'm going to be mean here and just say the backbone. They don't have the principle stance to be like, okay, well, I'm going to protect this. But more importantly, they don't resist this. When Games Workshop comes out and says, we're going to kill fan animations, who's talked about that in negative view? Who's even put links to their contacts in the description? Who's made a statement about it? Who's done anything about it? Like... What? I saw like one Twitter post from the text-to-speech device crew is like, oh, this is very worrying. Okay, but what are you doing about it? Like, you're one of the largest channels out there. What are you doing about it? Nothing. What is the commentators doing about it? Nothing.
Like, some of the little channels are fighting back. Like, the Outer Circle guy did. Head pats for doing the damn right thing. But what did these other people do? They just sat there in silence. Just waiting for, like, what did Valrek do? He waited for the GW dildo to arrive in the box. Like, oh, it's even got a little signature. Wow. Like, fucking Christ. Like, what are these people doing to help Warhammer as a community? Nothing. They don't care about you. They don't care about Warhammer. They only care about the views, the clicks, and the money they make. These people will throw you under the bus just like they'll throw the whole fandom. And it's sickening. Like, I've seen some other little Warhammer YouTubers, like Ludus, come out and say, like, I'm disgusted by the Warhammer community. Because it is disgusting. There's a lot of good people in this fandom, but Jesus Christ. There's so many that aren't. It's just sad.
Yes. Also, the chat raises a valid point. What should they do? Well, this. They should talk about it. They should be vociferous about it. They should make videos specifically about it. I, for example, in the lore video, I put the contact info of Games Workshop in the description and go like, okay, tell them how you feel about this. This is something that we have to do together as a community, as people, otherwise nothing will ever happen. I took away all of the visuals. I made a boring-ass thumbnail with just an icon and a black screen to be like, okay, this is what they want.
Arch,
like, there's a limit to what you can do. There is a limit. Like, I'm not saying that anyone, even Alpha Boost, like the biggest one, can just be like, knock on Games Workshop door and go like, oh, silly Billy, and that'll fix anything. No, of course not. But it is something. It is the only thing we can do. No matter how little it may be, it is what we can do.
Like, look, I pulled up Arch's video. Like, this is like honestly the most you can do as a content creator. And I know you care about Warhammer because you're a big fan. I'm personally not that big fan. I got burned early. Like, when I was trying to get into Warhammer Fantasy, that's right when the end times happened, and then it happened. I'm like, well, I'm not doing that.
The end times.
I started collecting Skaven, and I have never finished painting or assembling them. They're in a box somewhere where they will remain forever, never to be used. And, like, this is the kind of stuff, like, just honestly, what you did there in that video is honestly all you can do, and that's better than what everyone else is doing, which is fuck all.
I've got a couple more videos planned out on it. I think I'm gonna see if I can maybe make another video with the Out Circle, for example, because I want to make more stuff around this because it is very important. But again, like there is no silver bullet, there's no magical cure here. But I would urge everyone to encourage their favorite content creators to take this shit fucking seriously. This is the slow boiling of the frog. This is yet one more tiny little encroachment on what you can and quote can't do in the Warhammer community. I've got one video I'm working on right now, which is going to be called The Death of Creativity, where I'll just show you how little 40k has evolved, how far backwards it's gone from its root, and how little 40k there actually is. Ah, God damn it. I know also that the creator of Death of Hope, Mark, for example, really good guy. He's one of the few people, too, who actually took a principled stance on the whole little political debacle with me. I was like, okay, I don't care. Like, he has his opinions. I don't think he's a racist. I've talked to him. That's fine. Not a problem. And he was given a job offer by Games Workshop, and he's currently in contact with them now, and he's already kind of low-key said that he's probably not going to be interested. And after this, I'm pretty sure he's unlikely to jump on board. And he's done more than most of the content creators.
Honestly, he's a great guy. Strange thing, I heard a lot of weird things about him, conflicting things, until I actually just somebody in my own Discord server sent me a link to the comment section, one of his videos, where a bunch of people were just outright attacking Arch, because literally Arch is the Voldemort who can't be spoken, because how dare he say something you disagree with. It's that pathetic. Oh my god.
Anywho, we've wandered too much into a me hole here, so
It's
let
not
me
even a
drag us
me hole.
out of it.
No. This is a hobby hole. Like, this affects the entire fandom. This is more than just about you. This is about GW. This is about the fandom. This is about its decay.
One note on the fandom, though, because I do feel like, because this is what I've been talking about the gatekeeping videos too, the outsider, the anti-fan, frankly. Like, Mark was an excellent example of that as well. One of the reasons why he had a small little break, and he did, was because he kept getting shitty comments about how he was so awful. Like, Startease is so much better. You're awful at this. You can't animate. Like, holy shit, the man has made this whole animated movie for you for free. Like, give some helpful critique, sure, but I get why he got stressed out over that. Fuck, I'd get pissed off at that point.
Yep. No, it's
Plus,
something that
like,
is stressing.
your animations are bad. Like, okay, can you animate better? Crickets. Okay. There you go.
See, it's one thing if you're like, okay, see, say your animations are bad. Like, there's all the whole thing about criticism. Like, okay, you look at his animation. I haven't seen much, to be honest. But, like, you look at it and go, like, okay, you know, this is a bit stiff. To say it's just bad is bad, like, criticism. And generally, you want to try to be helpful. Criticism is hard to give to people, especially through text, because they can often misinterpret it as being hostile, even though your intention is trying to help them. So you need to be very precise in what you're criticizing. So you look at the animation like, all right, so the posture's a bit stiff, and he seems like, you know, when he moves, like his whole body is not really in the motion of it. And then give some examples, list some pictures or other links of descriptions of animations or something where, you know, this stuff occurs. There is such a thing as bad criticism. And that's why it's actually important to curate the critiques you listen to. That's one thing I learned when making an indie game. Like, if you just see somebody that says it's bad, and it's like, okay, disregard, like, you got to be more specific. What's bad about it? Is it the animation? Is it the color choice? What's wrong specifically? What's the thing that's bad? To just use the general statement, it's bad, is literally useless. Like, what does that mean? It's bad. The whole thing. What does that mean? Then go through the list of every specific thing. Okay, the animations are rigid, the sound effects are off, you know, etc., etc. And then you tweak those things.
Also, just the fandom didn't usually care about that. Like, we were overjoyed if we got fan art, never mind fan animations. Like, people are just like, okay, this is cool, fantastic. Like, cool, keep doing more of this is great.
Dude, when I get fan art, I try to commission them, and they're like, no, I just want to do it for fun. I'm like, god damn it, I want more artists.
And just to point it out, too, Mark is not a bloody bad animator either. Like, I've actually done animations, and I can see the things he struggles with, because It's the things I couldn't bloody figure out either. It's the really hard shit, like making sure objects look like they have speed and motion and weight is really goddamn hard. Like it is, because when you take a sword swing, for example, okay, it takes 1 second, okay? So you just set up the animation so the animation swing takes 1 second, and then you look at it and go, that looks super slow and dumb. Because in animations you need to add on effect, because you don't get that that visual blur you get in your eyes, you don't get the motion blur, you don't get the movement of it, you don't get how your eyes react to it, etc, etc, etc. So it just looks super boring. And it is very hard to do properly. Very hard. But anywho, we have wandered into a completely different hole here now, and I'm going to drag Kyle, kicking and screaming out of it. He is the one who's dragging me down here to begin with, and I'll start reading some super chats. God, I remember when I was like, we'll keep these segments around 30 minutes to an hour.
You knew that was never going to happen, right? See, if you wanted that to remain true, you'd have to stream by yourself without a friend. Or bring some random on, because, like, if you bring
I'm
a
already
friend...
streaming without a friend.
Oh, right in the back. Oh.
Right in the fucking gut.
No, back, because you backstab. You can't even get this
but
right.
a gut shot is more dangerous and it bleeds for longer.
Shut up, you. I don't care about that.
All right, let me read some super chat then before we begin wrapping up this little mini World of Warcraft EA fellatio special. Like, God, I never thought I'd be filleting EA of all companies. Like, I'm shitting on GW and Blizzard while going, EA are the good guys. Like, holy shit, where the fuck are we? We must have gotten spun around pretty bad at some point in this continuum.
Accidentally entered a different dimension. The wrong one.
Like, this is a weird time continuum right here. Like, who's the president? Joe Biden. Oh shit, how did that happen? Most popular president ever. What's the best company? Electronic Arts.
What?
I need to make like a meme video on 10 things you never believed would be true.
In the gaming industry,
it's so many things that are just completely ridiculous that 10 years ago you'd be like,
never.
You retard.
And here we are.
And here we are. Anywho, Boag opens proceedings by saying, based and on time. See, Boag understands. Boag is a Mexican that lives under the threat of cartels, Kyle, and myself. And he knows. He knows the words to speak.
He's survived in Mexico for a very long time, for good reason.
Yes.
He's a survivor. Learn from him,
He
chat.
understands. He understands when honesty is not necessarily the best policy.
Yeah, sometimes you need to embezzle.
Sometimes you need to embellish the truth just a little bit, and Boag understands that. Because technically speaking, I guess I was slightly late, seeing as I'd set the stream to go live at like 9.
Yeah, I saw you blame me in chat.
That was because it was your fault.
I was like, what? Because I was in the middle of a dev meeting, because dev meetings are on Saturday, and I was like, is he blaming me? I'm like, yep, he's blaming you. I was like, God damn it.
Heg, oh Jesus. The double E's. Hagar. The executions will continue until morale improves. Frankly, it is the only way to make sure that morale does improve, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not willing to kill a few dudes, how can you be sure that things will get better?
True. Can't. You can't.
You can't. You literally can't be sure. However, when people start falling over dead, you can see when the smiles come back on their faces and they're like, yep, we're willing to cooperate now.
We're not at all, afraid. We're totally, compliant.
Now, yes, the smiles may initially look a hint strained, but productivity will rise. Okay,
You've seen
that's fine.
Those North Korean pictures where they're all smiling next to the leader.
Oh yes, I've seen the ones where they gang up around Kim Il Ping Pong or whatever the hell his name is, and they're hugging him, and there's tons of women smiling and screeching as if they were next to Tom Hanks. I'm like, oh my god, it's the great glorious leader. And I'm like, yes, this is a free and liberated people right here.
I'm telling you,
this is what freedom looks like.
Listen, I've been on my channel, I've been trying to suck up to North Korea so that Kim Jong-un will invite me over for tea. So he's actually pretty cool.
That'd be kind of fun.
That would be. Not many people can say they've been invited.
At Kim Jong-un's house. Like, unironically, his house is probably kick-ass as shit. Like, massive with like 17 pools or something.
Yeah. I take back everything negative I ever said.
North Korea strong. North Korea strong.
Yeah,
North Korea is the future, the light, and goodness.
Invite us.
Plus, I don't think North Korea would censor me as much as GW would.
He honestly would probably be. You know what? I think Kim Jong-un should purchase GW. He would do a better job than GW.
And he'd be able to produce the models at a really affordable price.
Not only affordable, but they'll really encapsulate that grim, dark, future in the 40k universe. Like, you can even feel the grim dark on the model. Like, is that a bit of ash? I was like, yep.
You open it up and scrolled on the underside of the models are the word, help me.
Help me.
All you can do is just look at it and go like, wow, that's dedication right there.
Yeah, see?
Man, this is a brilliant idea. Oh, this is a great. But Lancelot652 says, Blizz also shot Warcraft 3 Reforged when they said every mod belongs to Blizzard when still salty over Dota. Ah, yes. The hallmark of the cunt corporation. I hope I dragged that out long enough for YouTube not to notice. Because that's a bad word. Is to start claiming random shit their fans make. And just be like, mine. And the claiming of the mods, man, like your game was practically made on having good mod content, on having mod support, on having those amazing user-generated mods. And then the creator of Dota comes to your house and goes, would you like this incredibly popular thing? And they go, no.
Oh my god, they're the ones who turned him down, too. See, it's funny.
Yep.
It's funny. It's kind of funny. Blizzard turned him down. And it's like, Blizzard, you absolute monkeloid. Like, what have you done? And that was when they were actually good still. Like, they made that mistake. That wasn't when they were, like, under Activision's boot yet. That was a genuinely foolish mistake. Because originally Blizzard's success was like, we're going to make you a Warhammer games, GW. And GW were like, yes, make us video games. And then GW's like, actually, never mind. We don't like you anymore. And so Blizzard's like, well, fine, fuck you. I'm gonna make my Space Marines, and they're in Space Australia. Fuck you. And then GW regretted their decision ever since, because they never could compete with Blizzard. That's kind of poetic. It's also poetic that Dota did the same thing to Blizzard, too. A certain irony in that,
It is. They deserved it. They got the little tushy pushy that they deserved. Sand Doom says, Hail Arch, praise be. Quick question. What are your thoughts on the death corps of Krieg versus the Commander Orcs video? I know GW debags, but it was nice to see Kriegs and Commander Orcs get some love. Don't worry. It's literally just the corporation going like, here, have this thing that you like. We don't even know what these things are anymore, but we hear you like them. Pet.
It's a Space Marine inside of a Space Marine. They
do deserve more love, though. I don't know if they'll get it, but they do deserve it. Doman, most of the workers went to Frost Giant / Dreamhaven. Now there's an interesting thing as well, because we did talk about this a while ago in a previous ArchCast, where we were discussing a little bit the potential reinvigoration of RTSs. And Frost Giant Studios is one of those that has a lot of previous Blizzard people, and who are basically saying, like, okay, Blizzard doesn't want to make good strategy games anymore, so we figured we'd try to. Honestly, now, they haven't actually made anything yet, nor have we seen anything that they've really made yet, so who knows? Could be hot garbage. Could be good, and if it is good, great. Fantastic. I hope it's good, though. I'd like to see some more, a bit more of a revitalization of the RTS community, particularly also because Company of Heroes 3 is like, okay. I mean, this is a thing, but.
I mean, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now because it is a prototype. Well, not prototype, sorry. It's long past that stage. It's an alpha.
They're doing the right thing. They're bringing in the community, they're testing it, and they want to cooperate. They want to, like, okay, we want to make a good game. What do you want? And again, that's what EA is doing, and that's what everyone should be doing. If your customer wants a thing, just give them the thing. Don't ask them a million questions or double or guess. Are you sure you want this thing? Because our internal test polling. No, just give it to them. Just bloody give it to them.
I hate companies like that. You want to know why? Because they already have carved out their niche. They already carved out their market. They're past the stage I'm in. They already have a fandom. Their job is simple. Just give the people what they want. They don't need to carve out their own niche again. They already did it. And then they're stupid and they're like, we're overly ambitious. We're going to make Dawn of War 3 for MOBA players. Like, now MOBA players and RTS players are looking at you like, ew, gross.
That's a great idea. It's like, we're Relic Entertainment. We're famous for making groundbreaking real-time strategy game. Let's break into the MOBA market. Yes, do that.
MOBA RTS, am I right, brother?
It's actually, Kyle, it's an action RTS, I'll have you know.
Is that what they sold? I don't even know. An action RTS.
I truly do hate the term action RTS, by the way, because it's a very dumb term.
Oh my god, we need to have a special stream talking about the term
We need
RPG
to have a Dota stream, right?
Activision.
That's correct, Kyle.
No.
Accurate, Kyle. That is correct. Correct.
Think about it.
Kyle looks up with ginormous eyes as he looks down on the grave he dug for himself.
I can't see out of here. It's pitch black down here now.
It's so deep. Why?
I think I hear Chinese under my feet.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Would you like one soup with that?
Dang.
That was awfully racist, wasn't it? Glow in the Dark says, Resurrected is too risky for China. Did they get rid of blood? If so, then definitely for the Chinese market. That's true. The fun fact, the Chinese video game censors do not allow blood of any kind in their video games. It's not enough to simply turn it green. Rainbow Six tried that, and the Ching Chong Bing Bongs looked at them and went, no, make it go away.
Here's how you sell to the Chinese market. You make your game for the rest of the world, and then the people who are in China can just pirate your game. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
They can play it the way it was meant to be played.
Until they, of course, block Steam in China, which they will eventually inevitably do. But hey, details.
True.
Tiny, insignificant details. A guy under a bridge says, I honestly didn't care much about WoW's content as I was in it for the RP community. But that's been dead as the kids eaten by GW's marketing department. But that's been dead as... But that has been as dead as, I'm assuming, kids eaten by GW's marketing department. They do like eating children, that's true. And it's one of their lesser-known crimes against humanity. The RP community. See, that's one of those things where I'm like, that seems very weird to me, and I'd never be able to do it myself, but triple bless anyone who can, because I imagine it would be incredibly fun to actually, like, be able to properly get into an RP, like Warcraft stuff. That would be fun, wouldn't it?
I tried one of the World of Warcraft RP stuff. It's actually kind of fun, but the problem is I think I joined the wrong server. It was called like Moonglaive or something. It was really weird. It was the sexual. Don't go to Goldshire. That's all I need to say about that. It's like, oh, what are we doing in here? And they're like, sucky. It's like, oh, log out. Nope. Delete
Bob Schmorkbasher gently and sensually licks your right ear. How do you respond?
I respond by logging out and typing capital letters delete for the character and then join a different server. That was the wrong server.
See, the problem with Kyle is he's very intolerant, but don't worry, I will not judge you for your ERPing ways.
See, they
And
knew.
in fact, I'll applaud you. Keep harassing Kyle.
They knew it was Moonguard. Is that the one? Yeah, that's the server. Whatever it was, it turned out to be the ERP server. I found out the hard way. But I get
The hard way. Oh God, Kyle, did they pluck your flower? Did they?
They tried. I just logged out. That's not an RP server. That's a gay server.
Oh my. Waranari says, while WoW is rocked by Blizz acting badly, Final Fantasy XIV is rocketing in players. Asmongold, 2.2 million plus in his first Final XIV playthrough, digital keys were sold out, struggling with server loads that led to Square apologizing, etc. It's true. They are having ridiculous amounts of success now.
Oh, yeah.
The question is how long it will continue. Because that is the big metric for an MMO.
You bring up an actual important thing. So Final Fantasy, while everybody's filleting them right now, it's important to point out that Square Enix is not actually the best of companies. Like, let's remind people that Nier Automata was released for PC, the crappy version. They then released the better upgraded version on Windows Store exclusively. People had to scream at them in the forums and in the mods, in everywhere really, to update the Steam version to be on par with the base version that the Windows Store version had. Square Enix is not okay. Square Enix is a Japanese company, which generally means that customer happiness and service normally is ignored.
Japanese customers are usually willing to swallow whatever quantity of voluminous, thick-flowing spunk is required to be allowed to play games. They are remarkably... I don't even know how to describe it, frankly. Welcoming, yes. Accommodating, yes.
I do like the nickname people call them. They call them Squeenix. Squeenix. Like, what the? I need my Squeenix.
Squeenix. They squeal.
That's funny.
Glow in the Dark says, USA corporation now just customer mining. Customer mining. Fuck, I'd like to be mined a little bit. Just CA, mine me by giving me Medieval 3 and making it actual Medieval 3. I'm okay.
Put
a little bit of mining.
Thought. Where's our pike and shot Total War?
Oh, they will never make pike and shot Total War. If they do, they'll fuck it up.
Oh my god, imagine the cannons, the pike formations, the rifle. You could get the little Cromwell incident in England. Like, oh, that'd be so cool.
Fuck it up. They'll fuck it up, and everyone will be sad. Everyone will be sad. Everyone will be disappointed.
That is an
era. And then everyone will just have to be sad.
Remember in the Total War trailers, they'd always be like, "It is an era of Total War," and it's like name drop. They don't do that anymore.
They don't do that anymore because they've run out of eras of Total War. Now they're like 3 kingdoms. It's an era of total incestuousness. Yes, they had sexy spexy with each other.
We need pike and shot, and we need it from a different company. That's what we need. We
do.
Pike and shot Total War from a new company that isn't Creative Assembly. And that can handle units moving backwards while facing forwards, because for some reason that's an idea that only one person was able to ever achieve. A unit can back up without having to turn around and show its back to an enemy.
There's actually entire chapters of the Dutch training manual, which was pioneered by Maurice and the Prince of Orange, etc., who came up with so many of the cool pike and shot tactics. There's an entire segment that details how a unit is supposed to move backwards in formation whilst delivering constant fire. Like, it's so anal about it, too. It's like, this person shoots, then he turns to the right, and he moves 15 feet. No more, or you shoot the son of a bitch. Oh, it's excellent. Oh, it's so good. Anywho, Kyle, you're trying to drag me away from the Streamlabs Superchats, you vile cow.
See, it's easy. All I have to say is pike and shot, and Arch's like, Rule.
It's such a cool bloody era. Gus donated $50. Very generous, Gus, but you didn't leave a message, which makes me think that something terrible happened to you.
He
Maybe
donated
somebody
quickly.
broke into your house.
Like, help, but he died. Hitting the send button.
His last action. Well, it was a worthy one. Thank you very much, Gus. Nicholas Kristoff says, I still have my old Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. Oh, box set. Right. Sexbot was what I read first there. And I was like, I didn't know they made those. The Lord of Destruction Sexbot. Wow.
That's the expansion pack for Diablo 2. Okay.
Like, that's not a sexbot I would buy. Like, you'd go down the line and you'd see Lena the Lolita, or Petulant Pablo, for example. And then the third model, the Lord of Destruction. No. No. Take it back to the factory, please. Anywho, to get back to the actual message. I still have my old Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction box set. And to see this happen to a game I grew up playing during my childhood is honestly suffocating. It is. And it'll continue happening until somebody at Blizzard stops sexually molesting the female staff. Just grab the women at this point and be like, can you make sexy woman? And if she looks at you with a harassment lawsuit in her eyes, move on to the next one. But eventually you'll find someone who goes like, yeah. Because some of the most prolific hentai authors, women.
Cool. Faced and women pilled. Just earlier, I saw Disco get herself a wench in a video game.
See?
Women, I
Though,
tell you.
to be fair, Disco is remarkably degenerate for even women's standards.
She tries to hide it. We know better, Disco.
Lord. Stop bringing up Manalord, Kyle, because I want it to be good, but it's probably going to be awful, and I'm just going to be sad.
It's like Total War, but like units actually are units. And it's like, whoa.
But with building management, with mechanics, with mechanics that make units move, with collision mechanics. Holy No, stop. Don't speak another word, Kyle, and I will.
Look, they're retreating while facing the enemy.
Shut up! And Galoy says, GW might find fine animation and art you got there. Be a shame if somebody ruined it for you. Mighty fine fan animation art you got there. Yes, it's very much so the gangster-esque thing. And Glow again says, GW fan creators, Master, me no mean you no offense. We was just want to share the love. If you pay Master, GW Master, you want to show your love, bend over. And creator, Master, please, no, Buck, no butt. Buck's broken. Buck breaking. That's a fantastic term. We need to all thank Tariq Nasheed for sharing his fetish with us all, because I had no idea what buck breaking was, but now I'm a bit of a fan. You know
what? Okay.
It's a valuable lesson for when I eventually take over the world. It's like, so that's how you control large quantities of people. Well, sitting there like, I don't know how to respond to this. That's because you, Kyle, will not be the buck. Don't worry, you'll be one of the subservient hordes.
Shut up, you slut. We can put you in your place, trash.
Glow in the Dark says, sad truth is consumers or IP fanatics, they will buy it even if they were kicked in the nuts and ripped up the rear if they get product. See, to an extent, yes. But only to an extent. Like, there are actual fans who will distance themselves more and more from products if it does not live up to their expectations. For example, despite Kyle begging, sniveling, and mewling at me,
what?
I am not getting Total War Warhammer 3. Screw that shit. Like, I am sick of paying $60 for a glorified expansion.
It doesn't matter what you're sick of. It's not our job to be entertained. It is our job to entertain and inform our audience. That is why we
I'll entertain
endure.
them by saying it's a bad game.
We must endure the unendurable because we are not brave, we're just stupid. That is the
I
goal of a
brand you
content creator.
hypocrite, Kyle. No, bad person. Go back in box.
I've endured many bad games for the sake of entertaining my audience, and you will learn to do the same thing in time.
Nope. Nope.
You will.
I'm bigger than you.
Not for long. I'll delete your channel.
Sujad says, assumed innocent until proven guilty, yes, but these are the kind of people who don't care about that. They believe guilt until proven innocent. That is a fine point, Sujad. Constantly, we're a nation of laws, cucking noises, cucking noises. Meanwhile, Blizzard, Chad noises, is like Blitzchung said a word that we didn't like, so yeet us, delete us.
That is actually the point in which I actually unsubbed. Or no, wait, I already unsubbed from WoW. That was from the point when I was like, I'm not gonna do it again, though. And I haven't. I'm not going to. It's okay, they make it easier by just making a bad MMO.
Blizzard has cut ties with developers, with artists, with tons of people over just accusations. So I see nothing wrong with cutting ties to Blizzard over just accusations.
They should make begging sounds, grovel, and then send paychecks our way. Many paychecks.
Victor Salazar says, Arch, I have thought long and hard on this question. I want to give you. Who is the best girl in Konosuba? Mine is Wiz. Well, who's your best girl in Konosuba, Kyle? Who's your best girl? Huh?
Best girl in Konosuba would have to be Megumin.
See, I think that's because you
A racist?
are a pedophile.
Okay. Okay. Look, everybody says Megumin, so I said the right answer, and then I lose anyways.
The thing is, Mega Man is 14, Kyle. Actually, 13, actually. Jesus. Oh, Kyle. No.
That's
no.
wrong, technically.
Box.
Listen, you're wrong, and I'll tell you why. Megumin is a drawing. Drawings are, and that drawing is actually younger than that, maybe 2 or 3. Or it's like that's not.
that is technically correct. It is indeed a drawing, which does make things better. Yes,
she's voice acted by an adult woman, though. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that she is.
Plus, I'm pretty sure she's getting boned by the main character, so no, secondhand goods. No, disavow.
Okay, we take the blue one then. At least she's dumb.
Aqua? Oh god, you have no taste. No. Best. Okay, so I have 2. Okay, because I am a man who has a harem. All right. Obviously, the first pick has to be Wiz, indeed, because you can tell underneath that baggy robe. Oh, tits the size of mountains. Yes.
Listen, my man. You will regret that decision in a few years when they begin to get the sag. The sad,
She's
droopy titties.
Undead, Kyle. She will never age.
No, she will. Everyone ages.
No.
It'll get saggy. You'll
she's
see.
Dead, Kyle.
When they're sagging down to the
undead.
Floor. When they're sagging onto the floor because they've rotted off in this case, you'll rue the day, Archie.
See, Kyle's just guilty. Kyle's just jealous because he's like, oh shit, he thought this through. Oh, Kyle, you have little.
I'm not the only one that liked the blue-haired one. I win.
The second member of the harem who's going to have to wait a few years is Yun, because Yun adorbs. Yun is sparkly and kawaii and needs head pats and needs to be treated better by everyone, frankly.
I feel like this is a child, Arch.
That's why I said wait a few years. Unlike you molester.
That's grooming.
Union, well, technically, I suppose. But details. Union is sparkly and adorbs and needs many head pats, and she needs someone to be her friend. Union is good girl.
Listen,
there you go.
Aqua can easily be manipulated, easily be taken advantage of, and the best part of all, you can be wholesome and not do any of that, and just be nice to her.
Yeah, but then she'll take advantage of you and sell you into slavery or something. Because it's Aqua and she's a bitch.
That's true. You do need to take advantage of the blue-haired one. You cannot trust it. You cannot.
You cannot. Oh, Jesus, that made me lose track of things.
I do like how chat's...
Lancelot652, speaking of GW, I was watching other videos on this topic and found, that's not a Queen Alexis one. Let's not delve into that hole at another time. It's a deep and dark and brown one. Horrible. Crazy Loon says, Art, you should have sued Games Workshop when you had the chance when they gave you the perfect evidence of malice. And the thing is, I would have had to, it would have been a hellish thing, because I'd have to basically send a letter to World of Warships and be like, okay, did they actually tell you to not do business with me? Because if they did, that is actually, what's the term? I forget. Malicious intervention, I believe.
Yes. I mean, GW, we already know several of their writers and other people on their team are out to get you in any way they can and selectively pick you out of everyone else just to harass and attack you. So it's not even a new
you are right. I am actually half regretting it, but again, it would have been hellish because I would have to get World of Warships and have to be like, okay, did they contact you? And if they did they tell you not to work with me? And then they would either have to say yes or no, and they would have to furnish me with any documentation there, presuming I could get a Russian company based in some kind of, I think they're based in
I thought it was Cyprus
or something. Cyprus, yeah.
I don't remember.
To cooperate, which would have been hellish in and of itself. And then if I could get that, that could be a very big deal. Then I would have to take them to court in the UK, probably. Ugh. I feel better if they would sue me, because then I'd be like, I'm in Norway. Our lawyers are very expensive. Swift Nation, and the thing is too, it's not like it goes away either, so I could potentially use it in the future, but we'll see. Swift Nation says, Dearest Overlord Arch, would you consider a Song of Sticks playthrough? Loads of new updates. Also, hello to the animated glory hole. Breed Kibbs.
Wow, rude.
I don't know. Accurate estimation of reality. Sadly, I don't really do playthroughs anymore because it's too much work for too little reward.
He still plays games, but he mostly just plays... The only games you see him do content on now, at least for the moment, is when he does a review, or if he's on the Bickering Bunch joining us for one of the many weird games we play.
Yes,
sometimes not
weird. YouTube does not want Let's Play content. Even the biggest Let's Players on the platform can't mobilize their communities to watch Let's Play content. It's just dead on YouTube.
You're not wrong. I've themed off My Bickering Bunch channel after something completely else. We play games, but we do it in groups, and it's basically just a pseudo podcast with us playing a video game in the background.
Except we can't talk about anything because Connor's like, you're your part here, sir, because YouTube gonna shut me down. Susan lives next door.
See, I've already been we can talk about politics when we're not streaming, but the minute you open your mouth about politics on YouTube, and YouTube let me just demonetize you. And it's no, I don't want you to do that, YouTube. It's already bad enough that I got corporations copyright claiming me for when we play Star Wars games.
He is soft and weak.
John Williams music is worth it.
This is why they call you a animated glory hole, Kyle, because everybody takes a turn.
No, they don't. Actually, Lemonadia had made some great clips from the Battlefront 2 one in our Discord server of Arch getting stuck in an ATSD. That was quite funny. I was surprised how well received that stream was.
That's because you are a strange person.
People like Battlefront 2 EA. I know, it's weird, isn't it? Look, some people are
And people like Arch, that's why. Yes.
False.
Marked Ahmed says, does anyone remember what Games Workshop did to the first Warhammer fan film, Damnatus? I do not. I think that was before my time on the internet, frankly. Damnatus. I do not remember that.
What's it called? Let's Google it.
What? I just said it twice, Carl.
Google, but how do you spell it? Warhammer 40k? What? Damnatus?
I'll figure it out.
Well, that got me nothing. Google says I should be donatism.
Well, that's nice. I suppose. But no, sadly, I do not know of that, most tragically. I'm sure they were assholes, though. I'm absolutely certain. That Wall says it's just as well, considering everything Games Workshop has is actually stolen IP. Hashtag free the fans to make their own. They have been very borrow happy. They have, which is another reason why what they're doing is so bloody egregious, because they themselves had no problems with their little sticky fingers. Oh, Michael Moorcock, that's a pretty cool idea of chaos you have there. Yep.
Copy paste. That is true.
Thank you for the inspiration.
See, well, I agree with you when on your video where you talk about inspiration. It's one thing to take inspiration. It's another to just copy down everything, especially like the logos and the way it works. Like one thing 40K never touches on hardly ever, probably for legal reasons, is in Rogue Trader. I believe they mentioned the Navigator guilds, and I was like, wait a minute, these things sound exactly like the Dune Navigator guilds. It's like, DW, what are you doing? Like, copy, paste, change some names, copy, paste. It's like, what are you doing, G-dubs? You stealing there? Like, a little bit. Little bit of stealing. Little bit of
They don't like bringing up chaos that much either. The signal, the 8-pointed star, because that is literally just a pure Control-C, Control-V.
Like, they actually stole the symbol. Like, that is lazy. That is.
And Mala's Darkblade is a fucking 1-for-1 copy half the time of Elric, which is. And again, here's the thing, right? Originality is a myth. I am entirely fine with GW taking inspiration or even straight up stealing on occasion, so long as the overall universe becomes something more unique in the end. That's fine. But the hypocrisy of it, ugh, shit. Glowy says, one big problem with fan critique is fans usually do not understand how to put it in words what they don't like. That is true. That is actually where my history with talking about politics has helped me quite a lot, because I have grown more accustomed to verbalizing my complaint and why I don't like a thing. It's a bit easier then. Unlike, other people like Kyle who just make noises.
I make good noises, though.
Like, why is this bad? Oh, derpy.
Look at the thing I sent you. Look at it.
No.
What is this? Is this Lord of the Rings? Is this Lord of the... Wait, GW?
This better not be another sex toy.
Giblet the Dwarf? Like, this stuff is so blatant.
Oh, Arrogant the layabout.
This is Warhammer, by the way, stealing stuff. We're not making this shit up. They do it all the time.
Yep, Olorin the Grey Wizard. Olorin is much admired in the mood for his fireworks display. Like, see, and the thing is too, like, this wasn't malicious. This was, I can guarantee you, just reading from the descriptions, this wasn't malicious. This wasn't GW. We're gonna steal this. This is Games Workshop making fan content. This is them going like, okay, this is an awesome setting here. We're gonna make like fan characters out of this. They're doing what they're currently attacking their fans for. Oh, it's so fucking infuriating. Anywho. Luke Jones says, just started checking out the Gotrek and Felix books for the first time, and they're great. Besides some of the great books that are still there for Warhammer, I'm considering just jumping ship from GW. I'm not going to buy anything from GW anymore. Like, if they make a book I want, there are other ways. He will use his
telepathy to read the mind of the readers, and like, the words like melt out of their brain. Yes.
Cosmic Cat says, have you read Gunka no Baltasar? It's basically 19th century military porn with political intrigue and artistic 3 tomes spanning artillery battles. Yes, I have read Gunka no Baltasar. It's pretty damn cool, but it hasn't been updated for about 7 months last time I checked. So yeah,
it's dead.
It's pretty dead. Yes, unfortunately. Tragedies. I've been struggling to find like a new good manga a while now, because a lot of the ones I read have kind of started wrapping up. I'm reading a lot of Korean manhwas at the moment. I would heartily recommend that, particularly like the ones set in like kind of 18, 17, 19, early 19th century kind of settings, because the Koreans hardcore fetishize that period of European history, and it's so well drawn. Like, it's this hyper romanticized view of court life in the Napoleonic era with these unbelievable uniforms and stuff. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. It is adorbs. A Juggernaut Demon. Final Fantasy XIV has been massive for years and has millions of active subscribers. It's just news to you normies. Well, that's the thing. It wasn't massive. It was big, sure, but it was just one of those MMOs trucking along like Guild Wars. You know, it was just a thing. But now it's starting to compete with WoW. That is news. That is big news.
Yes, and also...
Nick Mattis.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to point out the fact that he was wrong, but whatever, because we'd mentioned that before. But
Kyle, don't say that the subscriber is wrong. The subscriber is the customer and is always right, no matter how silly he may be. Yes.
Nope.
Nick Mattis for 200 Norwegian kroner, so he is a good person of superior braiding to most other people. Good. Corporate is the death of passion. That is correct. 40k is still cool, should be covered despite all the heresy, and replace smug arch with booby fluffy cat arch. I don't want to put boobs on the cat arch. That would look weird. That would look strange. Like just a cat, a literal furry cat. It was just ginormous honkers. Like, huh, this is odd.
Furry.
What do I use them for? I'm sure there'd be a few people like Kyle who has a history of furry relationships, though, that might look at that good. Yes, good reason to avoid. Good reason to avoid.
Look, I didn't know at the time. And then when I found out, I was like, oh, shit. What have I got myself? I need to tell you about something that, like, I'm afraid to tell anyone else. I'm like, should I be worried?
Yes. Yes, you should.
It's like, oh shit, and they're like, I'm a furry, and I'm like, oh no, no. She's actually pretty
well,
chill.
there you go. Bolag says Dota is owed to Arch. Kibbs has confirmed it. Pay the piper, Kibbs. Dota stream. Yes. 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 Yes.
You don't even like Dota.
I do occasionally. I like parts of it.
Arch is okay, so you know how people, like, everyone reacts differently in a game? And Arch gives me crap because he's like, you get quiet or you disavow strategy games. But Arch is the worst kind. He's a screamer. When the Arch gets mad, it's like, Ree! Every time. You get loud and mad.
No, that's a lie.
You do. You do. We have plenty of streams showcasing it.
Incorrect. Lancelot 652 says, it all makes sense now why Kibbs is such a degenerate. He was from Moonguard. Yep. He's a degenerate. He's the one in the wrong. I do not get loud. I get terse at worst. That's another word you don't understand, Carl.
Sure.
I can hear him Googling that in the fucking background. I can literally hear it.
You can't, because I'm not.
Samuel Eddy, look at Mana Lords on Steam. Ah, yes. I mean, again, I hope it's good, but it's produced by one dude in the middle of Eastern Europe, and I'm just like, let's be realistic here.
Some games
realistic expectations.
Some games, if they have somebody who's dedicated and work around the clock, can do what me and my entire team does in like a month, in like a week, because they have 24 hours to do it.
Absolutely. Like, it's possible. I'm just saying everybody needs to have a little bit of realistic anticipations, because that's important. Don't build this game up in your mind to be the polished product of Creative Assembly. Assume it to instead be something more akin to like Medieval 1, right? A bit of a janky, a bit of a weird game, but deeply charming.
Knights of Honor was kind of like that. It was like a little Total War game that they made.
Mm-hmm. That would be a better expectation, but yes, hopefully it is great. Great. Sir John says, a petulant Pedro, you mean Angry Joe? He is a bit of an Angry Joe, I suppose. But no, Angry Joe is not, to my knowledge, a sex robot available for purchase. So, good? Yes, we'll go with good. He has gotten fat, though, hasn't he? Ooh. I'll be fat someday, and I'll be sad. I'll be fat now.
You already are fat. He's like, no.
Incorrect. I am perfectly proportioned for my weight. Sunyard also says, learn to endure Dota 2 kibs. Yes, you should. Nick Mattis says again, Disco best Disco, Arch bad Arch for rejecting the fluffy boob cat Arch. Disavow. Much disavow. And Disco is the true degen here. Then again, I wouldn't be surprised if Disco would be all in favor of Titty Kitty. It'd be two words
kitty.
she couldn't pronounce. It'd be
It'd be
No, she can't even do the K, okay? It'd be
You know that one meme where it's like the EA thing? EA, so like it's like E. That's just E.
E.
I need to. God damn it.
Chloe says, North Korea becomes biggest producer of DW models. Servitors are made with actual human parts. Some of the blood paint has blood in it. The Grim Dark So Dark factory would remind you of a penal colony. Dedication to detail right there.
Hold on. I'm sending it to you now, Arch. Review this with your eyes.
Dedication to detail. Boag, you have no idea how hard it is to not spoil the ending of Konosuba right now. I'm sure the ending is awful. And I'm sure it will never be animated, so good. WMC Wolverine, howdy, you degenerates. Only Kyle. Off topic, but I picked up an International Harvester M1 Garand the other day. I don't love the rifle, along with my Yugoslavian M72 RPK. Keep up the great work and great entertainment. Rock on. Thank you very much, sir. The M1 is an adorable little rifle, isn't it? And it has that adorable pingy noises. The pingy noise is the best noise. Ping. I'm out of ammo. Reload me, please. Unironically, that was actually a problem during the Civil War, so a little bit back before the M1 Garand again. But soldiers would not fire their weapon. They'd just stand there loading their rifle because they'd be like, well, I've been trained to do this. Reload the rifle, reload the rifle, reload the rifle. They're shoving bullets down the barrel. Well, balls more correctly, but hey. But that time, Kibbs still haven't answered the question for Arch of Nuts or Go Nuts for your Futa fan art. Either answer that or fight me on Solaris. Florida man can't wait forever. Right, Kyle, Futa. Nuts, no nuts. Balls, no balls.
No Futa. There you go.
He's a weak,
Uniki
pathetic
snip.
fool.
There you go. Kitty. E.
E. Just a Chad E. Just E.
EA should rebrand under that.
E. we forgot about the arts. We're just E now. We're just electronic.
E.
E.
See, people won't know what to make. They won't be like EA. They'll be like, oh, it's E. See,
E.
I have an uncle who works in the industry who's was pretty high up, I should say, and I can tell you, he regaled me stories about when EA was a company made up of electronic artists. That age has long since passed.
E.
He likes that more than I think he should.
Sir Swagalot says, save the nasty, filthy IPs or watch them burn, considering that they are dying faster than new ones can be made. Well, new ones could probably be made a hell of a lot faster if it weren't for the old ones standing in their way going like, this looks kind of slightly like a thing we may have made at some point.
Maybe.
It is very difficult to break into any markets right now. It is very hard. And even before, too, like people forget, Star Wars was never intended to be a hit. Star Wars intended to be a stupid, actiony derp movie that no one was going to watch, probably. And then it turned into a massive cultural phenomenon, and the developers, our producers like George Lucas, were like, I don't know what to do with any of this. Like, what is a lightsaber? I don't know.
He's like, fuck, like you weren't supposed to like it.
Like, what's the force? Oh,
See,
it's tiny little bugs that live inside of you.
we
Right,
got
I've come up
lucky.
with something smart there.
New Hope was actually okay, and then Empire Strikes Back is phenomenal, and then Return of the Jedi is That's because George Lucas is like, I want to be part of it again. It's like, George, no, you were the ideas guy. Stay away.
Glow in the Dark says, Sangon more Chad. He went through lawsuit and won. Virgin added Arch lawsuit. Too much work. See, if I'd been sued by Aquila, obviously, I'd go through with it too, obviously. That was a bad lawsuit. Oh, good boy, Sargon, though. And he sued her for reparations as well. Good boy. Market Ashmad, a damnacious German live-action 40k fan film. GW sent a cease and desist, and this was around 2004-2007. You can find the trailer on YouTube. Yes, so GW were assholes about it. Small surprise. The Goof 171, GW, wow, Arch, you made 48 hours on the Siege of Rax. Give it to us or destroy it. We don't want it to compete with the OMS version on our pay service. The One Mind Syndicate version, I guess. Like, we can... That would be kind of funny if they only copyright strike OMS, and the reason is, like, we can read from Wiki too. Fuck you.
We can read from Wiki too. See, the thing is with One Mind Syndicate, like, I don't understand. Like, it's just lazy, and the Wikipedia on most fan things is always in doubt because it can literally be edited by anyone. So it's like one of those things where, like, okay, you read it on the Wikipedia... Fair, like maybe do a little bit of source checking. It's like the Wikipedia can be used for many things, or any fanpedia, like the Wikipedia, which Arch and I have been looking at for undescribed reasons, right? Like you can scroll down, and you can see the specific source materials, and it's like, okay, you go directly to the source, you know, get the actual goods. But it's like, I don't know, One Mind Syndicate's just lazy. Like, I don't understand why people even bother watching them, to be honest with you. It's like, you just regurgitate, like, what I could read on the Wikipedia. Like, why the hell would I watch you? Like, if I watch a lore channel, I expect to be entertained and also see it with a bit of a twist, rather than just simply, like, lore is regurgitation, but it's regurgitation with its own art form. That's just regurgitation.
Regurgitation as an art form. Like, V comes out as a pro scatterfile. Like, yes, you see, this is a deep lore. Kyle, no. Go on.
What's wrong, Barch? Are you
No.
No.
Moving on from the appreciation of scat, Dawal, there could possibly be a good manga out there somewhere highlighting Kyle. Although that bit with the glory hole is just sick and kind of makes it into a hint. He's not just a fan anime.
I feel like that's not an anime.
I don't think that's going to be a good idea.
You don't make an anime about me. Make it about, like, one of the characters. Otherwise, that's just weird and creepy. Glowy
says, okay, way to fuck with GW. Start IP Battle Hammer with the Human Empire, with Void Marines called Ore Starters, with the Galaxy Militaros, traveling through Eldritch dimensions filled Eldritch horrors that feed off emotions and thoughts. I mean, they could sue you, and you could look at them like, are you sure? Swift Nation says, my overload, a good light novel, is Solo Leveling. It's new, and there is a manga as well as a comic version, or 86. Read Kibbs. Solo Leveling. But it's solo, though. I need big titty side characters in my stories.
My God.
That sounds kind of cool. Let me pick a chapter at random and see if there's a ginormous pair of titties just dangling onto the screen. There isn't. This is very disappointing. Might give it a look. Maybe. Snowman 0147 could do Lady Archneko. Just a suggestion. Don't give Kyle more ideas. He's already commissioned like one. Glow in the dark. Kibbs saying Arch is a screamer. Kibbs, do you have a confession to make?
Don't worry about it. Just, oh shit, this fucking game.
We streamed The New World a couple days ago, and Kyle started making up lies about me. He was like, Arch, me and Arch, fuck. And I was like, no, we don't. Stop it. And Kyle's like, ha ha ha, please forgive me.
I didn't say that.
You did say that.
I didn't say forgive me.
You did.
We do fuck. What do you have to say about it?
I refuse.
I refuse.
And
scared.
I accuse of rape. I play the Me Too card.
It's not very effective.
Incorrect gender. Oh. Glow in the Dark says, Kibbs says Arch... No, they're not. Juggernaut Demon, my super chat was aimed towards the chat, Kibbs. You whore. Oh, Kyle's a whore. The new Mechanicus Tech asks, what is your top 3 monster girl types? Oh, God. There's a broad question right there. There's a lot of them. Nothing slimy. Slimy bad. Don't like the slimy slimes. That's no. Too much of an acquired taste, frankly. What's the oh, kobolds. Yes, kobolds adorables. Kobolds adorable because they're tiny and kawaii. Kikimura, that's another one because it's basically a housekeeper. And third one, dragon, because you need waifu to protect you as well. Yes. There you go. Kyle?
What's that, boy?
You have to name your 3 favorite monster girls now.
Cat grills. What's as long as I don't break the 10% rule. So I guess fox girls and dog girls. We're safe. We're safe.
That's not even monster girls. Like that's some species of like 1, you cheating slut.
No. Their body their physiology needs to be human, and the little ear things can be just little modification things. They need to actually be human.
So, officially, Kyle is into Kanth Siths. There you go. Disgusting. Truly.
I've already...
Boag says, Kibba's Weeb stream. Torture Kibbs with anime and manga. See, I don't want to let him know that there's good stuff out there, because I prefer it when he suffers.
You know,
and Luke Jones. I'm going to jump onto Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm back from the Middle East. I don't want to be a complete week, but Japan is seeming more like the last bastion. Weeb, I guess. Yes, it is.
I mean, they'll hate you there. Don't forget about that. Like, they're... Like, you want to talk about
they'll
racism.
be a little bit racist, but as long as you talk to them nicely, they'll treat you well.
Unless you go to the countryside. Are you getting some things here? Like, Japan-based. It's like, until you go there, and they're like, wait, it's not so based after all.
Oh, it's very based. Racism is remarkably based. Particularly against white people, Carl. It's popular these days.
Yeah, they're no better than SJWs.
Kyle, your world is too small and narrow, filled with too few definitions.
It's like, it's the same thing. Gibbs is on something. No! No. Gibbs is
Below, he says, Workingpedia got taken over by woke. I don't think you should trust it as much as you used to. Eventually, it will be messed up. Wikipedia, I guess? Wikipedia. It's as good a source as any, but you do need to double-check it because they do have a lot of things that are contradictionary, but such is life.
We also look at the movie, too. Best to go to the source material. The direct source inspiration.
Don Pete XX. Kibb's description of a lore channel is him advertising for art, basically. That is correct. Kyle is my simp. He is small, and he simps. That is all. And no protest noises were made. Disco is also a simp, but more hesitant, sadly. Abdi Muhammad. Dude, bring V on your RP. The dude is genuinely hilarious. Kyle's already sabotaging enough. Alright, Ed Smasher. Hello, as Umi, the orc is here. Orcs. Orcs are good. Orcs, at least, are fairly unique to 40k in the way they do them as football hooligans. Brett Wertheim says, avoid Balmung on Final Fantasy XIV. It's the ERP server. Good. Good, valuable information. Avoid ERP server. I imagine an ERP server on a Final Fantasy game might be spicy. Yes. Might be frighteningly spicy. Oh, Jesus. Oh, heavens. Right. And with that, I will wrap it up. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you for listening, commenting, and sending in super chat, and for hitting the like button. Yes, the like button. We forgot about the like button. The like button is your friend, and it should be stroked most gently and convivially. Yes, indeed. Thank you all again so much, and for your generous donations. Until next time, I have been Arch, and this has been my simp. Have a good day.